Welcome to Bazaar Breadmann. Please, have a look around. So you'd like to buy something. What kind of item would you like? Unique. Vintage. Genuine. Strange. Unusual? Haunted. Collectors. Oh, so you'd like to see my collection? Why don't we get you a closer look?
In this world, there are many great and powerful items, but there are some that stand out as the best. 6 items more powerful than the rest. Previously on The Collector, we learned about a hat that was more iconic than anything else. But today, we learned about another item, one valuable beyond your wildest dreams. But there's something else you should know. This silhouette doesn't represent just one item, no, but a collective 4 with one thing in common. Money. They all make money. These items are responsible for keeping the Team Fortress 2 economy alive. But how do they do that? Well, to help explain, I've prepared something of a betting game for you viewers as I walk you through each of these items and why they're important. But before we get to that, I think we might need to learn the rules and listen to a bit of a history lesson. Good evening, Breadmann here. Let's take a trip back to the year 2010. You see, it was on September 30th of this very year that the world would change when the greatest minds at Valve headquarters put their collective tens of brain cells together, throwing all caution to the wind without even giving a passing thought to the long-term repercussions of their actions on the gaming industry as a whole before coming up with one of gaming's first ever loot boxes, thus spawning the Mannconomy. It was at this time that players would find themselves access to many new mysticisms, such as player trading, highly coveted unusual effects, and most importantly, the opening of the companies we now know as the Big Four. Yes, that's right, the Big Four, otherwise known as Collective, Cratemate, Scrapature, Science, and the Buddies Company. Now, if you're watching this here instructional video, it means that you are now a brand ambassador for one of these 4 companies, and you need to know how they work. You need to know how to properly make a sale for your company and how to properly prevent sales from your competitors. Now pay attention, because this is where it gets important. This is the market garden, and it's going to track how much money each company is making throughout this here video. Now, our current data shows that by the end, only one of the Big Four companies will survive to see the market open back up tomorrow. So it is imperative that you, as the brand ambassador, get down to that comment section and make your company a sale. May your days be many and your bankruptcies few. Now then, why don't we start where it all began? Collective, the company of today, crafting the world of tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Robert P. Collective, and today I'm being beamed across the stars straight to your screen with an important announcement. Change is coming to the gaming industry, and it looks like this. Behold, our newest invention, the Key, or as we like to call it here at Collective, the new American dollar.
And to make a plan like that a reality, they were gonna have to do something bold. Up until now, the cycle was simple. Buy a key, open a crate, get a hat, sell the hat, profit. It just made sense. Until, of course, it didn't.
I just wish I had never bought these keys. Every time I open a crate, I barely break even. How is a trader supposed to make it in this cutthroat market when the value of my inventory is left up to chance?
Now at first glance, this seems like a problem, and to the average trader, it is. But to a company trying to change the market itself to make a quick buck, this was a gold mine.
I know how much that sucks, but we have a no refund policy. Here's an idea. What if you just sold the keys instead of the items?
And from this one phone call, the Spend It marketing campaign was officially launched. Keylective started to push players everywhere to start buying and selling keys to and from each other. Oh, you need a new hat? Why use equal value hats to trade with when you could just use a key? Why bother using that key of yours on a crate at all? Why risk opening a crate and getting some low value, all supply, no demand hat when as long as you don't use it, that key is a guaranteed 250. As long as you can make a good deal, that key is all profit. This was the message that Keylective planted into the minds of the public, and it worked. The cycle had changed. It was no longer key crate hat money, it was key hat. The key was no longer a tool to just obtain a hat, but rather the very money you spent in the first place. Keys were officially a form of currency, and their sales were on the up.
I'm telling you, man, you should be investing into Keylective. Ever since the release of the key, their stock has been off the charts.
Buy, sell, I don't care what you have to do. By this time tomorrow, I want to see a pile of shiny new keys where that pile of disgusting hats and crates are.
The success was undeniable. Keylective wasn't just some business anymore. They were the sole provider of the main currency of a player trading system turned self-sustainable player-made free market. Keylective made themselves and their parent company Valve millions. Enough millions to change the gaming industry as a whole. Enough for other companies and games to see this and begin to adapt their own microtransactions to fit what they saw coming from Valve. I would not hesitate to say that the microtransaction as we know it today was birthed largely in part by Valve, Keylective, and CrateMate. Or, as we know it today, the CrateMate Casino. Now, the CrateMate Casino comes from small and humble beginnings. Their business model was simple: buy a crate, open it, and get yourself a nice hat. Now, at first, as all things do, this worked fine. There were lots of hats and lots of people who wanted them. But over time, supply started to overtake demand, Keylective partook in some monopolizing business practices, and players started to trade these hats with each other for a fraction of the price that it would take to get those same hats from a crate. So the question everyone found themselves asking was, why do I even need a crate at all? The clever minds at CrateMate had a solution. Let's hook the young gaming population on gambling. Ever heard of artificial rarity? No? Good. Now you see this hat here? I know it looks like an ordinary hat, but I assure you it's not, because it's unusual. That's right, check it out. It's on fire, and it's really rare. So if you want one, I guess you'll just have to buy a bunch of crates. And it's also really expensive, so you can buy it for $2 and sell it for $200. Doesn't that sound nice? Doesn't that make you want to try your luck and buy a crate? With the introduction of unusual hats, the market was changing fast. You weren't just buying crates anymore for the purpose of getting yourself a nice, fun cosmetic. You bought crates to get unusuals and make a lot of money. Content creators started to make videos titled things like
Unboxing 100 Crates,
which roughly translates to come watch me crank the unusual slot machine 100 times over and give you the illusion that you too can get an unusual just like me. And how did I translate that? Well, I think it's obvious. If there wasn't an unusual hat in this video, then there wouldn't be any viewers. And how could you blame people for that, really? The hype was understandable and very real. Even I was in on the unusual trading train. But as we already discovered, this capitalist hellscape isn't sustainable and supply will always catch up with demand. And when everyone's unusual, no one will be. So the geniuses at CrateMate started to add in new unusual effects, and then more of them, and then seasonal effects, but it wasn't enough. So what if not only unusuals were rare, but certain hats were also rare? That way we can slow supply by making sure rare hats with rare effects are almost never unboxed. And if you don't think that this plan is perfect, then I have brought in an expert to prove you otherwise.
Enough with all this political, supply, demand, gambling business. Why didn't I just tell you about how cool all these rare effects are? CrateMate's early work was a little too new wave for my taste, but when Series 3 came out in 13, I think they really came into their own, commercially and artistically. The whole set has a clear, crisp look and a new sheen of consummate professionalism that really gives the effects a big boost. They've been compared to CSGO knives, but I think CrateMate has a much more bitter, cynical sense of humor. In 2014, Crateman released this, their most accomplished series. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Molten Mallard. An effect so expensive, most people probably don't see the actual effect, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of conformity and the importance of trends. It's also a personal statement about the company itself.
Hey, Breadman!
Hi, my name is PartyPug TV. You may recognize me from the evolution of TF2 YouTube, or the TF2 cheatbook, or maybe from even in-game. But I'm not here to entertain you or play games. I'm here to talk to you about some things that have been weighing on my mind. So, can you tell me, how many in-game weapons would you guess are currently in circulation at this very moment? Well, I did the math. Currently, Team Fortress 2 is averaging around 100,000 players a month, and with players averaging a grand total of 693.3 hours of playtime, with a weapon drop rate of about once per hour, we can come to a very conservative estimate of 69,330,000 weapons currently making their way through the game, with millions of more on the way. This system is unsustainable. Players are getting themselves weapons they don't even want. This weapon doesn't go with my main. But I've already got 2 of these ones! This weapon sucks! If this rate of weapon consumption continues, there will be no weapons left by the year 2045. That's why I've partnered with Scrapature Science to help make a change. Introducing Scrap, a new way for you to clean out the old inventory of those things you don't want and start making a little more green. And I don't mean the planet, I'm talking about your pockets.
Here's how it works. You send us any 2 weapons of the same class, and then we tear them apart and send you back scrap, a wild new form of currency. On its own, it might not look like much, and that's because it's not worth very much. But just 3 of these turns into one of these. And then 3 of those turns into this bad boy. And only 71 of those guys turns into one of these. And does that seem okay to you? You send in 1,278 weapons just for 1 key? Something isn't adding up here. Which is why I am delighted to announce that an anonymous informant has stepped forward to help expose the lies of Scrapature Science.
Good evening. I would like to anonymously announce that scrapping your weapons is a scam. With the price of keys on the rise, Scrapature will take in more and more of your hard-earned weapons while you get little to nothing. I would truly feel bad to be a sales representative at that company right now. Which is why you should
Invest in my product at the Buddies Company. Buds are easily the most comfortable, affordable, and portable pair of headphones that are on the market right now. They're actually the very headphones I'm using to edit this video right now. To be honest with you, I don't think that I can do these headphones justice, so I've brought in someone who knows a little bit more about them than I do.
In a market that houses an increasing number of increasingly expensive hats, how is a man expected to safely unload an inventory worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars when any one hat alone could be easily worth more keys than trading slots allotted by Valve? What we need are buds, the new staple of the Team Fortress 2 economy. Just one of these babies can be worth upwards of 15 of those dusty old keys, which means trading for these will leave you with even more inventory space for other expensive items. And the best part, unlike keys, these guys are in limited supply, which means they can hold a high price without the threat of new drops bringing their price down.
On top of that, they're slick, they're shiny. Anybody who sees you wearing one of these will know that you're the real deal. Think of a pair of buds as your ticket to respect in and outside the trading scene. And the best part, buds are completely immune to the ever-changing state of the Team Fortress 2 economy.
This is Market Mandy here. Our top story tonight is all about buds. Seemingly overnight, the price of buds has dipped dramatically, and it shows now signs of stopping as players continue to panic sell in an attempt to save their inventory's value. Could this be the end of this wild new currency as we know it?
Breaking news. For reasons currently unknown, every single crate supplied by CrateMate is dropping unusual hats. With the sudden influx of rare items, the economy has been left in shambles. My heart goes out to anyone with money tied in with the company as the future continues to look bleak.
Good evening. It is with a heavy heart that I announce that the CEO of Key Collective has been arrested on the charge of fraud. Sources claim that upwards of 10 million in investors' money has been embezzled in order to buy lollipops? To tell us more, let's hear what Team Fortress 2 YouTuber Breadmann has to say. Thank you for having me on, Breadmann. The story actually comes across as rather unsurprising. It's just one piece of a much larger story that's already been unfolding. A story of the economy devolving. The market has gone primal. In the recent weeks, we've seen story after story detailing the downfall and recovery of each of the big four companies. Stocks have been left incredibly unstable due to the guerrilla business tactics being employed, leaving the stock market to fend for itself against insatiable greed. The situation has become so dire that I even predict that by the end of this broadcast, only one of the big four companies will escape bankruptcy. If there was ever a time to make a sale for your company in the comments section, now would be the time to do so. Market crash. Congratulations, Crate Mate. Thanks to your expert sales skills, you've managed to defy all odds and come out of this video profitable. And to the rest of you, I'm sure you'll be fine. Even if you're bankrupt today, who knows what tomorrow holds? After all, the items that we've talked about today are just a small taste of what lies in my great collection. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the very near future, but until then, thanks for watching.